and everywhere. Вы смотрите CNN.
All eyes on the Ayatollah as Iran's supreme leader prepares to address the nation.
Keeping up the pressure, but will marching en masse have any effect?
We just thank God in any other situation, if this person had been given a chance, what an extraordinary adult he would have been.
A desperate plea for help. Angelina Jolie calls for action on the refugee crisis.
It's 8 a.m. in London. It's 11:30 in Tehran. I'm Zain Verji.
And I'm Don Riddell. This is CNN Today.
Iran's post-election turmoil has been playing out for days, but the most powerful man in Iran has kept silent publicly until now. Iran's supreme leader, Ayatollah Ali Khamenei, will be speaking during prayers at Tehran University in just less than half an hour. And what he says could have a major impact on what direction this political standoff will take. Thursday, election protests continued for a sixth day in Tehran, but this time the demonstrators formed a sea of black to honor those killed in the post-election violence.
Many marchers also wore green to support the opposition candidate Mir Hossein Mousavi. The election protests were some of the biggest yet, and as CNN's Reza Sayar now tells us, these rallies show no sign of slowing down.
This movement, the support behind Mir Hossein Mousavi, the disgruntled candidate, keeps building and building. Really, what's fascinating is no one really knows where it's going to peak, where it's going to culminate. For the sixth day in a row, you had a massive rally in a major city square in Tehran. Once again, tens of thousands, some estimate hundreds of thousands of supporters of Mir Hossein Mousavi came together. They gathered and they rallied, but this time they weren't wearing the color green, which has become the symbol of the Mir Hossein Mousavi camp. Instead, they wore black. Mr. Mousavi himself asked his supporters to wear black in support and in memory of the several people killed on Monday. But this has been 6 days of rallies in a row without government permission here in Iran, and that's unheard of. And if you look at modern history, you'd be challenged to find anywhere in this region where this has happened. So this thing keeps on building, and no one really knows where it's going to culminate. An amazing political drama continues to unfold here in Iran.
Ayatollah Ali Khamenei's speech may have a major influence on this standoff election. Reza Sayar has been reporting from Tehran all week, and he now explains why the Supreme Leader's remarks are so critical.
He's at the center of this political drama, and it's going to be very important what he says, because if he comes out in support of President Mahmoud Ahmadinejad, like he initially did a day after the elections, what he's going to be doing is essentially ignoring these hundreds of thousands of people who've come out day after day calling for a new election in support of Mir Hossein Mousavi. But instead, if he comes out in support of Mr. Mousavi and maybe hinting that there's a possibility of a revote, then he's undermining not only President Ahmadinejad, he's also undermining this regime and perhaps even undermining himself. So this day is huge.
That was Reza Sayar there speaking from Tehran, and it's worth pointing out that the Iranian government is limiting us to only one report from there each day.
Mir Hossein Mousavi has repeatedly called for a new election in the wake of last week's vote. The Guardian Council, which supervises the elections, has agreed to meet with opposition candidates on Saturday to hear their complaints. But President Mahmoud Ahmadinejad says voters have already decided.
There is no discussion of victorious or defeated. The entire nation is victorious. We have 40 million victors, and they are all dear. And we are a big family, and we have to put our hands together and build the country.
Iran's president may be the most influential elected official, but Iran's supreme leader still wields the ultimate power. CNN's Ivan Watson now profiles Ayatollah Ali Khamenei.
Ayatollah Ali Khamenei. For 20 years, he's been Iran's supreme religious leader, the most powerful man in the country. According to the Constitution, Khamenei is the commander of the armed forces and the top judicial official in the country, with the power to dismiss Iran's elected president. Iran has only had one other supreme leader, Ayatollah Ruhollah Khomeini. When he died in 1989, the Iranian leadership quickly changed the constitution to pave the way for Khamenei to become his successor, says Stanford University's Abbas Milani.
Because in the initial constitution, you needed to be an Ayatollah, and Mr. Khamenei is in no way an Ayatollah. He's a low-level cleric.
Khamenei started out his career as a political dissident, frequently imprisoned by the Shah of Iran.